The internet is flooded with blogs and videos on how to talk anyone into doing anything. And so I felt like I had to give my take on this conversation. Because the reality is that most of what you hear in those blogs or those videos or those ideas is complete junk. So in this video, I'm going to show you actually how to talk anyone into doing anything. Check it out. Number one, don't sell to anyone. The whole basis of the title of this type of a video is completely flawed because we don't want to sell anything to anyone. Instead, what we want to do is sell the right service or the right product to the right person. So the actual premise of this entire concept is really flawed. And so I promise I'll give you some ideas on exactly how you can be way more effective than actually trying to sell anything to anyone. And let me just clarify. The real flaw with this of trying to sell anything to anyone is that there are a lot of people that are simply not a fit for your offering. In fact, according to our data, over 50% of initial prospects that you come across simply aren't a fit for what you sell. And that's okay. In fact, the more quickly you determine that, the better off you are. So take out that mindset of trying to sell anything to anyone and instead get really clear on who you actually want to be selling to. Number two, know your IPP. Now you may be saying, what's your IPP? Your IPP is your ideal prospect profile. The best salespeople are super crystal clear on who their ideal prospect actually is. And so the best way to determine your IPP or your ideal prospect profile is to start with coming up with a list of what are the traits of prospects that are not a good fit for you. Because knowing who isn't a good fit for your offering is going to make you much more clear on the people that actually are your best prospects. The one resource in sales that we all lack is time. And so if you're wasting your time trying to sell to people that aren't a good fit, you're ultimately not going to be successful. You need to only focus on selling to your ideal prospects. So when you get that lead from that prospect that is absolutely not going to be a good fit, you can have an initial conversation if you just want to make sure, but be willing to move on from them as quickly as possible. And then at the same time, spend your time focusing on targeting only your best prospects. Number three, demonstrate insight. In order to be able to sell what you sell to the right prospect, you need to start by demonstrating some insight up front. What is it that you have that your prospects are genuinely interested in hearing from you? Chances are it's going to be your high-level perspective. No matter what you sell, you have spent hours, countless hours hearing the complaints and frustrations and needs of the people that you sell to. And that information is actually really, really interesting and insightful and important to other people that you talk to. This is how consultants make an entire living simply selling that information. A consultant is simply someone who has gained some insight from talking to a wide range of people and then goes and sells that information to other people. Now, as salespeople, we may not be selling consulting, but we can still use that same high-level bird's eye view insight of what's going on in our prospects' lives to demonstrate that we understand what's going on with other prospects. And that's how we engage our prospects in those conversations, by demonstrating that insight, by demonstrating that we understand the challenges that they're likely facing and what they're likely looking to accomplish, and what are the common pitfalls that often get in the way of actually accomplishing what they're looking to accomplish. Number four, disqualify. Now this goes back to the heart of the topic of a training video just like this, which is how to talk anyone into doing anything or how to sell anything to anyone. And the reality is that you don't want to do that. You want to be selling to the right person by using your ideal prospect profile, engaging them in a conversation by demonstrating insight, and then by disqualifying the prospects that are not a fit. Again, we said, according to our data, over 50% of your initial prospects are not going to be a fit. They're not going to buy. So the sooner you can disqualify those people and move on is going to now allow you to have time to really focus on the people that are a fit. Here's the rub. Most salespeople are spending so much time trying to sell to people that are never going to buy. And so they get caught in this cycle of following up. And maybe you've been in that situation where you find like you're just following up on people all the time and it's not going anywhere. That's because you're not disqualifying and using a systematic process to ask questions to understand the key challenges the prospect is facing. That's what disqualification is all about. Number 5, solve. So once you've gone through this whole process and then you've really understood what's going on in your prospect's world by using that disqualification approach, now it's time to not present the features and benefits of your offering. It's not the time to really go for that hard pitch or that hard close. Instead, we simply want to demonstrate that we can solve our prospects' challenges. We want to demonstrate that we can solve the challenges that they just told us about. So this is the math of selling, of your prospect is at point A and you want to get them to point B. But in order for them to get to point B, there's a lot of challenges that they currently have. You need to demonstrate that you can solve all those challenges in order to get them to point B. That's the calculus that your prospects are thinking through, is I want to get to point B and I need to solve these challenges in order to get there. Is this person or is this company the right solution that's going to help me get to point B? That is really sales in a nutshell. So if you can demonstrate that you can actually solve your prospects' challenges, not focusing on the features and the benefits, but just demonstrating that you can solve their challenges, that is how you gain confidence in the eyes of your prospects. So there is my take on how to talk anyone into doing anything. And if you enjoyed this video, then I have an awesome free training on the data-driven approach to closing more sales in today's marketplace. Just click right here to get registered instantly. Seriously, just click right here. This is an in-depth training that will help you close more sales at higher prices, all while generating more meetings. Also, if you got some value, please like this video below on YouTube and be sure to subscribe by clicking my face that should be right about here to get access to a new video just like this one each week.